Hello, guys. I'm Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I'm here with the beautiful, lovely, sometimes she will make this guy a sandwich, wife of mine, line of my life, Yanzi.
Hi.
And today is the day we're talking a little bit about decimated DC. Once again, guys, it is decimation time as DC is now issuing paperwork as we speak to creators on basically what they can and can't say going forward. So here we go. First off, DC has had a history of trying to govern what people can and can't say on social media. Now, when you work for DC Comics, you are going to be paid peanuts to work and create stories with icons that corporate media own. And then when you're no use to them anymore, they owe you zero work as you give them the best years of your life. What else goes good with that? Telling people what they can and can't say for simple contracted work. And now I'm going to say on this here channel, please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, cause fuck Ron Mars. But on this here channel, I do talk about stupid shit SJWs do say on the internet, especially if they work in comics. But I will always stand up for the rights for people to have free speech. Why? Because I get to criticize it. Not in all seriousness, I think people should be able to say what they want, especially if you are. I think if you say something stupid, it'll eventually catch up with you. I'm not saying comic creators should go tell people, call them Yahtzees, whatever, on social media. I would think companies would just take action or people would just protest and not buy their stuff. But I think it's important that we see people for who they are. I want to know if somebody thinks I'm a Yahtzee and I don't want to give them my money. I don't want them to be governed by a comic book company. I think a comic book company should refuse to work with them. Sure, there's a lot of casualty in this, like this type of thing, because eventually maybe I can't talk about a politician I want to vote for, and or something like that. I can't like Joe Rogan all of a sudden because he's considered alt-right, which he isn't. He used to be a big liberal. A lot of things like that. Like this is getting really, really murky. So I saw this on comic creator Jimmy Palmiotti's Twitter line. Evidently, DC is upping the game on this. So what do we got here, Yanzi?
Jimmy over here is actually talking about how he's getting new contracts from comic companies and his lawyer is looking over them and he says, do yourself a favor and read everything. Someone that knows better, have a look at it. And Kevin Corner brings up, I had a rumor companies are going to start including social media clauses on what can be said, what can't be said, with whom you can interact, and what they require you to say. I hope the rumors are wrong. Well, Jimmy says, rumors are right.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So let's look at it again. They said, what can be said, what can't be said, with whom you can interact, and what they require you to say. So they're basically saying you will talk to who we want you to talk to, and you'll shut up when we tell you to shut up. That's it.
Right. And again, it's not like people's page rates are going up. I mean, Jimmy Palmiotti does crowdfunding books. He also works on such things as like Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn, things like that, things that help inspired movies. And it's very important to him that he's able to, as any creator should, if you work for Marvel and DC, is sell yourself as well as sell your books you're working on. And especially if you're in the creator-owned game, if you're looking to build your own intellectual properties, you do have to build your brand. Now, if a company that wants to pay you a few bucks here, you haven't had a raise in forever, your contracts are miserable, all of this, and you're like, why am I even doing this? I need to really go full on into my own creator-owned ventures like I am. What's the benefits of working for the company if the company is going to run its hand up your anus like a sock puppet and navigate everything you say? This is getting really tricky because it's like a couple of things being said here, and Jimmy's kind of agreeing with it. And I've kind of heard similar rumors from DC Insider. But this interact with who you can and can't interact with. This is going to be interesting because maybe you're considered a person that you like or you're friends with. You've known them for years. Maybe they're CG. Maybe they're considered alt-right. Or maybe they're just right-leaning. You like their tweet. All of a sudden, a DC lawyer's like, hey, you're working on Batman. You can't be liking this person over here. You can't be, this isn't good for you. People who work in DC Comics, so a story we tell, we'll never name the creator, But sat next to him at a convention 3 days, had a good time. He's like, third day, I guess something came out of my mouth that he felt like a kinship to. And he's like, I got a night letter. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I got a night letter from a very big writer in comics. And he said, I heard you maybe voted for Trump. And he's like, I hope for your career, I hope you didn't. Now, this is past tense. Like the 2016 election came and passed. It's like 2018. And that type of fear in the comic book industry, it's thick. It's not BS. It's a real thing. It's not legal and on paper, but it's running around. Now, who you can and can't interact with on social media, and that maybe has an effect if you can work with DC Comics. I mean, unless you're dealing with somebody who's doing an illegal action or part of a group that has like sinister intent like that, I just don't see the legal cause for this. Now, I could see with the new change of guard at DC Comics now that Daniel Cherry's moved on, that somebody's coming in and they're like, there's just too much noise with creators talking. So wouldn't it be nice if they just said less? In a lot of cases, I agree. I think a lot of people out there, like I could do with less preaching on their social media. Sure. But when you have to take the good with the bad, I feel, because that pendulum swings both ways. There'll be a lot of people that are just fun personalities on Twitter, or they're actually good comic creators, and now they can't interact with certain people. Like, what is that certain people? Like, what does that mean? And I mean, if you can't interact with a certain type of a group, are you not basically wanting to give up sales to that group? Like, I don't understand this. And who determines who these people are and on what accord? Is there paperwork? Like, you can't talk to Ethan Van Sciver, you can't talk to comics. I mean, like, where do you go with it? Where's the beginning and end of this? It just seems like this is very problematic and something that you're having to sign on a piece of paper that you'll agree to. Now, these type of work standards do get upgraded time to time at Marvel and DC. Like one of the later ones I'd seen from Marvel Comics that I had gotten, just being a cover artist, was like they wanted me to agree that I wouldn't be using any type of photo reference from any actors, which I found very strange. But I mean, in a way that makes sense, since Marvel Comics is, Marvel Studios, and maybe let's say I just yank Tom Cruise for Tony Stark, and all of a sudden Tom Cruise is like suing Marvel Studios for looking like Iron Man in a comic book. I could see that being an issue. But I'm saying these are different ends of the spectrum. That's a business legality thing. This other thing is just like, wouldn't it be nice if creators were silent? I'd like it to turn down to 8, sure, but I wouldn't want it to be like on mute either. Like, I really don't see any good that can really come for this for creators. And I also don't see a lot of creators like who are all bitching SJWs about my indigenous voice, my voice being heard. It's like, well, if you guys don't say or do something, there is no voice. At this point, I mean, if you're so into freedom of speech and being heard, you really should be saying something to these comic companies instead of just trying to use diversity to leverage into a job for 1 month a year.
I'm just looking at this old guideline issued in 2018, and let's just run through it very briefly. Comments that may be considered defamatory, libelous, discriminatory, harassing, hateful, or that incite violence are unacceptable and may result in civil or criminal action. Comments that may be considered insulting, cruel, rude, crass, and mean-spirited are against company policy and guidelines. We ask and expect that you will help to create an online environment that's inclusive, supportive, and safe. So this is a guideline here. They have things saying like,
right. And I
you may want to refrain from
SJW's ever been fired for calling somebody a Yahtzee.
Well, see, that's what I'm trying to say here. You may want to refrain from engaging with individuals who may be speaking negatively about you, other talent, DC, our fans, and the comic industry, as this is a no-win situation. So if they say this is already the existing guideline, and they're talking about including social media clauses, what? So that means that they're going to take it, this is a level 2, so they can take it to level 5 requirement now? Like they're going to tell you specifically who and whom you can't speak about?
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't think it'll be fair. I think it'll be like something really sinister, or I really don't think Jimmy Palmiotti would be running it past his lawyer before he signs it. This is fishy. And the weird thing about this is this: a lot of comic artists can't afford lawyers. You know, they're not all running around with lawyers on retainer. So to be able to process this and everybody understand what they're signing, because a lot of guys, and this is how creator rights are so screwed up. People are just needing a paycheck. They're just needing that Batman issue. They just need to pay their bill. They're worried about rent. They're not worried about how bad they're going to get ripped off because of a new character they just made and Batman's punching, and how it's going to be in a movie 10 years from now and they don't get $1 or even a movie ticket. Much less now, this is treading on their social media and their freedom of speech. Not every work for hire artist, they just don't have the resources to go to lawyers over this. I'm not for a comic book union per se, but a guild of some sort or something like that could at least maybe have a legal one person processing this legally and speaking for a group could do something. I mean, instead we end up with a crappy image guild or I'm sorry, image I don't know, union that is everybody that's running the copy machine that aren't even creators. And yeah, I don't know. This is just disgusting to me, and we'll see where it goes. I mean, I from what I'm hearing, it's not too good. But you know what I am hearing that's good, Yanzi? I'm hearing Inglorious Rex is getting closer to $245,000. Thank you guys for all the support. This is our second Indiegogo campaign, and it is a beast. And while we're talking about that, I'll leave you guys with a trailer. Please hit like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. I will catch you guys again with another video.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a past the doctor. I got a 6 cents for a prostate, so now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power.